So today we were working on the K24 Cefiro build. If you're unfamiliar with this car, this is my 1992 Nissan Cefiro, which is a four-door Nissan sedan with S-chassis suspension. So it's basically a big long wheelbase sedan, but with Nissan 240SX, which is their sports coupe slash hatchback, arguably the most infamous drift car of all time, suspension. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get a big sedan, but with the sporty, very well developed for drifting suspension. So I got this car with a stock RB20 in it, decided to put a Honda K24 A2 in it with a Borg Warner 7163 turbo. We did custom V-mount and so on and so forth. So we got the car done. We got the car working. We've been using it. We've gone drifting with it, but we got some problems to sort out, and we've got a lot of exciting things to do to this car today. It's pretty action-packed and a little bit of everything. So first off, we've got a part to hopefully fix a big issue that could be costing us 50 to 80 horsepower and a ton of power in the mid-range, a ton of overall, usable power band. And this car is already pretty rowdy. So if we can fix that, this thing is gonna be next level. So I'm really excited to try to sort that out. I think we got a handle on what it is. We're gonna try to fix that. Thing two, we're gonna be doing some custom fab work to fix really the one main mechanical issue we came across drifting this thing on a hot day at the track. So, fun little fab project. But three, we have some custom big lipped one-off wheels to go on the car too. So the car is getting a whole lot of exciting things today. I'm really excited to jump into this. So let's get right into what we're working on. I'm not 100% sure if the VTEC is working or not. We can't confirm that electronically. The other thing that's not working is a variable cam timing. As soon as you get into higher RPM, as soon as you kind of crest like 4,000 or 5,000 RPM, it just goes crazy and then goes to zero and does nothing. So this whole time, we've had no variable cam timing. There is a lot of power and a lot of torque in that variable cam timing, and we are not utilizing any of it. So we're gonna try to fix that today. There is a strainer on the VTEC solenoid here where the oil flows through. Now if that strainer gets clogged up, we might not be getting sufficient oil pressure to our variable cam timing solenoid, our VTC solenoid. I've got a new solenoid with a new strainer. So we're gonna put that whole assembly on here and see if that solves our issue. Okay, I know there was a lot of jibber jabbering, but I'm just excited. Today's got a lot of things. It's got a lot of things. Let's get to it. I'm hoping we can get this off without pulling the turbo off. It's gonna be tight. Gotta swing these lines around a little bit here. All right, well, our strainer looks not clogged. This gasket was pretty worn out. I remember I had bought one to replace it, and I lost it while I was putting the engine together. So, I don't know. We'll toss this fresh one on. Oh, look who it is. It's Raldo and Josuanito. Dang, talk about the squad. So Josue's got an LS, Raldo has a JZ. You guys should know them from the channel by now. Finally, dang, much hype. Wow, I'm so proud of you, Josuanito.
I done did it.
You did it. All right, it was a bit of a struggle, but we got the new VTEC solenoid in. The only way to know if it's fixed or not is to go do a pull and data log it. So we got the perfect squad to go do a little cruise. Perfect excuse to go do a little cruise. So that's what we'll do first before we dive into the other projects. Let's see if this works. Okay, I think the VTEC's definitely working now. That was noticeable. Aldo and Josue, they've been my friends for literally a decade now. And it's funny, things come full circle because we all got into drifting together. Like they went to my first event with me and so on and so forth. And now they're my crew guys when I go compete with the LS Miata. So it's cool that we're finally cruising together. I've been waiting for us to go on a cruise like this since I got this car done, because they got their cars back together around the same time. So right, at least now I know it is something electronic causing it not to, something in the tune telling it not to advance, as opposed to something mechanical limiting it from advancing. Hopefully we'll get that sorted. We'll jump back into that later. I'm gonna call Hall Tech. They have amazing tech support, and they'll remote in and like look through the settings and watch everything, and I'm sure we'll get it sorted out. But in the meantime, it's time for the wheels. I can't wait any longer. These got here today. It's time to open them up. Plus Raldo has to leave, and he's got to see them before he leaves because he's as excited as I am. So let's get these out of the box. All right, I don't know if these are the fronts or the rears. About to find out. I'm surprised I had the self-control to not open this until now. These got here like 3 hours ago. Ooh. Here we go. Holy, woo! Dang, dude. Okay, that's pretty baller. That's honestly more baller than I was expecting it to look. Dang.
What a problem to have.
Dang, son.
Dude, that finish is on point.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's like
mirror.
All right, so here they are. These are from 3-Piece US. They recently started doing this. As you can tell, these aren't a normal 3-piece wheel just rebuilt. These are Z32 wheels, stock Z32 wheels, that they work their magic on and convert into a 3-piece wheel. When I first saw they came out with this, I was like, I've got to get a set of these because there are so many cool looking factory wheels, but they come in just weak sizes. They're like 16 by 7, 16 by 8. You know, it's not feasible to run them because you'd really need to run 18 for tire options and so on and so forth. And, you know, a car would have to be slammed. And point is, to be able to get a really nice looking OEM wheel, but in baller 3-piece wheel specs in the right sizes that you want. Like, So 3-Piece US, if you don't know, so they sell just like straight up, you know, used 3-piece wheels from Japan in the specs they come. You can have them rebuild those wheels into your specs, or a lot of times they'll build sets to common specs and have them on the shelf. So they had these on the shelf, ready to go. Now, these are pretty aggressive, but I wanted to go aggressive. So it's 18 by 9.5 front, 18 by 11 rear, minus 30. So they are really low offset. But the cool thing is, them being Z32 wheels means they're gonna clear our Z32 brakes. These stick off a ton off the rotor, as you can see. And that's something you have to figure out when you order wheels, if basically that pad is gonna have enough offset to the spokes to clear your brakes. So yeah, the rears are gonna be a little too aggressive for the body setup we have now, the fender flares that we have. But I've never been a big fan of these flares. They have grown on me a little bit, but I would really like to go to a full over fender, which will net us a lot more room. But I think even still, we can squeak them in there. They're gonna be aggressive, but that's kind of the point of this car. At the same time, was when I built this car, I wanted to make sure I didn't focus too much on function. I want it to work, I want it to be fun to drive, I want it to be a good street car, good comfortable car, but I want it to be stylish, and I want to take some of those points I always put all the way over here towards function and put them towards form, and enjoy that with this car because I've never been able to do that. I've always been pure function. It's gotta work. If I can make it look cool and work at 100%, great. But if I gotta take 10% off it working to make it look cool, I'm not doing it. So I'm pretty excited. I've always wanted some big boy, big lip 3-piece wheels, and we finally have them. And not only that, but they're freaking Z32 wheels converted to 3-piece wheels. So they, I think, are going to be coming out with more of these. So I'll put a link to the site below. Okay, I know. That was a lot of jibber jabbering. We got to steal the rear tires off this thing for now because I ordered tires, but I slacked on ordering them. The wheels got here way faster than I expected. So I've only got one pair of Nittos, but we'll throw those on for now and then remount, so on. So let's get to mountain tires. All right, well, I may have been a little overzealous with how much I could stretch at 235. They're not that stretched on its end, so I was like, I won't be that bad on an 11. Wrong. On there, it's seated fine. It's just, it's a lot of stretch. That is, I've never ran that much stretch in my entire life, ever. So, woo! Just a little wild. We got a little wild. One thing that's pretty neat about these is you have your front-facing valve stem for when the wheel's on the car, but then they put an inside valve stem as well for when you're mounting tires, because you're mounting them reverse mount. Normally you gotta like try to flip it over to get the air chuck on it and fight with it. It's not fun. Man, those look snazzy all mounted up. I need to make some adjustments to the rear. I have it set up with like almost positive camber to make those other wheels fit flush. So I'm gonna put some camber in it, rough out the toe, raise it up a little bit just in case we are still a little too aggressive, which we might be because I went a little too crazy on the specs. And then I think the fronts should be good as is. Front should be about 20 mil further out than these, so they should come out about perfect. The rears, on the other hand, they're aggressive. If you want them big lips, you gotta make some sacrifices and make it work. So let me do these adjustments, and then the moment I've been waiting for, we're gonna toss the wheels back on. I'm so excited to take these wheels off. So these are 17s, because the temporary wheels I had on here were rubbing the bumper and stuff when you were turning at angle, and I didn't want to clearance it for temporary wheels and then need to clearance it less for my permanent wheels, so I wanted to wait till I got the permanent wheels on here to go through and worry about clearancing everything. So we now have those permanent wheels. These can go back on the FC. All right, first wheel to go on, boys. Perfect, dude, these are perfect. It's hard for me to switch into careful mode when mounting wheels and tires. Dang, those look sick. Dude, the front sizing worked out literally perfect. Should work. Don't fall off, wheel. I mean, we had to add some camber, but she's fitting. Oh my God, I really did that? Idiot, dude. Idiot. This is why I can't have nice things. Might have to put some more camber. Oh my God, it looks so sick though. Dude, I can't. All right, I'm gonna put the other wheels on. We're gonna drop this thing down. Oh, well, we're touching. Whoops. We're kind of already touching. Yeah, we're touching. Okay, we're gonna have to clearance this over fender a little bit here. Gosh, it's crazy how much that transformed this car. Oh, the fronts are so money. Look at the fronts. Okay, I gotta tinker with the suspension some more to get everything happy. So you can see this arch stops and then tucks way in and has a big lip here. So what we're gonna do is just take this off. I already accidentally ground it off just driving with the caster too far forward. It's gonna clearance that a bit. Also, keep in mind that the camber and the super stretch tires are not permanent. That's just so we can fit them now because I really want to run them. Like I said, we are gonna go wider and we'll be able to run a bigger tire and no camber. For now, we're just doing what we can to make them fit. All right, well, here it is, dude. Oh, it's so good. I wish it wasn't dark. Clearly it is dark. Making all those little suspension changes and grinding and cleaning, all that stuff takes so much time. Tomorrow, when it's daylight, we'll back it out and we can actually take a good look at it. But it's amazing how much of a difference wheels make on a car. I can't even, this thing looks so baller now. All right, I'll see you guys in the morning. So I put this thing back on the lift. The front is where we're moving our attention now, doing some more cutting. I think we're good clearance-wise, but now we need to reset our toe. Everything else looks good. So you can see the pieces that we cut off here. So it's not really visible from the outside, it's just that inside lip. So we clear both ways. I'm gonna lift this thing up. I'm gonna finish out the suspension. We are gonna pull it out, we're gonna look at it, because I wanna see what the dang thing looks like, not in the shop on the lift. And then we're gonna move on to the next project that we really need to get started on, because this takes a while. I knew I'd have to mess around a lot with the front arch to get 18s to clear, no matter what. So, jibber, jabber, jabber, jibber. I'll see you in a minute. Well, shoot, man. Florida, come on, dude. Well, it turns, it steers. Lock to lock, no problem. Pull this thing back in the shop. Still got to go up a touch. It's significantly lower than the other side still. So we'll raise that up some, and then we should be in business. So the one big mechanical issue we had at the event, obviously we had the variable cam and VTEC stuff going on, but that's a simple, it's a bug, if you will. It's not a mechanical limitation. Mechanical limitation are intake air temps. So I built this V-mount intercooler setup. I really wanted to go this route because there was enough room, and it was a fun, challenging project that I wanted to do, and I'm really happy with it. And it does work great if we're drifting or doing pulls. Doing pulls, this thing doesn't get much above ambient air temp, if at all. But sitting in grid at the track, the temps would just slowly climb, because you're sitting in line for maybe 5 minutes between each run. And it's just like by the end of the session, they'd be at 150 before we started the run, and they'd actually go down a little bit during the run. But you know, you're starting at 145, 150, there's not much you can do. We need to get some air flowing over this thing while we're sitting in grid. So that's what we're gonna work on now. So I normally really enjoy my fab projects. It's my favorite thing, but for some reason during this one, I was just in a bit of a rush. I really wanted to get the car outside in the daylight, see it on the wheels. So we pulled the intercooler out. I had kind of marked how much room we had to build a shroud, and I really wanted to build a shroud for the fans because I didn't want to use the zip tie things that you would see from the top. So we make our CAD, carbureted design template, get it cut out of the aluminum. So I've got some extra holes and stuff in there so some air can still flow through past the fans. I'm not trying to seal it off completely like I would building a radiator shroud. So we get the basic shape cut out. We then cut the rest out with the plasma cutter, you know, the holes for the fans, the little extra holes I added in. This is kind of our rough cut of the design. So once everything is cut out, we move over to the old belt grinder to clean up all the rough edges that are left from the plasma cutter, smooth everything out, round off all the corners, just make a nice, you know, finished product. Then we drill and tap our holes for our fans to bolt into. There's not enough room to really do a bolt and a nut or a rib nut, so we just tap the aluminum. I weld on these little stanchions to bolt into to kind of put it at an angle because that seemed like the only real way to make it fit well. we drill and tap those to get it bolted up, and now it's time to test fit it, and what do you know? It doesn't fit. So I didn't do what I normally do and spend a bunch of time testing, fitting every part of the process, and basically the fans are just too big to fit on there with a shroud as well. So we had to abandon that whole plan. So I ended up just mounting them with the traditional fan zip ties. I'll try to redo that shroud when I'm not in a rush and I'm not being impatient. But even with the fans all the way up, we're still almost touching the radiator. So with these fans, it's going to be pretty hard to build a shroud to mount them, but we'll do it. Like I said, we'll do it when I'm really in the mood for it. Another little thing, my buddy Keith told me about these. Mr. Gasco 3741G is the part number. I'll see if I can link to them below. These are so handy. So it's a little magnet with a loop to zip tie to. So like we got to tuck this wiring up here instead of having ugly zip ties in these holes or whatever. We'll just stick this under there and zip tie right to it. These have saved me on so many things. These are so freaking handy. I got them for my trailer and I've used them on everything but my trailer so far. I have not got around to using them on my trailer. But anyway, I know I'm jibber jabbering on here. I'm gonna finish this wiring. We're gonna test them out, see if they work. Hopefully there's still some daylight left. It is really nice out right now, cool lay down. To take it outside and look at it with the wheels. It's now on the wall of shame. Disappointing. See you guys in a bit. Oh, they're definitely pushing some air. All right, we'll have to go give it a good thrash and then sit like on a hot day and see how well they work. But I mean, I think that's gonna make a massive difference. Enough about that. Let's get this thing out of the shop, take a look at it in the dusk. Well, check it out. Oh, I love it, dude. I've got lock to lock in the front without rubbing. I'm really happy that I didn't have to cut into the front bumper past that inside lip. Oh man, I can't wait to drive it. Intake air temps are amazing. Oh, I guess it's got up to 81 degrees. It was 76, which it's like, nah. I mean, I don't even think, is it 76 out? Feels hotter than that. All right, well, the fans seem to be working well. I took this thing on a test drive last night. Fan temp seemed good. I'm curious to see how it does at an event. That's when we'll really know, especially once I get my air inlet back in. Right now, I just have open turbo because I lost my clamp. So once we get that back in and go to an event, we'll be able to see if they're working. I have a couple of theories on, you know, if puller fans would actually be better to pull the air down while the radiator suck it in, or vice versa. I might split the airflow, basically put like an angled plate, so some of the airflow really probably coming in here would be forced up to the intercooler, so they're drawing air from separate places, because right now it's like the radiator fans are pulling air, and then this is trying to push air, so they're kind of fighting for the same air, more or less. I don't know, jibber jabber, one of those things. We'll just have to see how it goes, but I think it'll definitely help. Definitely seemed to help last night. The air temps were super cool. So we did have some rubbing. This side was still too low, so I finally this morning got this side high enough, readjusted the traction rod. Basically, since the factory fender is still in here, that's what we're rubbing on. But I don't want to take the flares off and cut that all out if I'm gonna go to a different style fender anyway and cut it out differently anyway. So I wanna wait, I wanna try to get by for now. I think we've got it sorted. We got it nice and high enough to get a finger in here. So that should give us enough room without stuff in the trunk to squat and not really rub, and then get to the track with some wheels and tires and tools in the trunk without rubbing too bad. So I think we're good. I think I'm finally happy with the alignment. I wanna go for just a short little cruise, see how it drives. it's crazy what a difference wheels make. Yes, it is a little more hot boy than I would usually go. The rears are definitely a smidge too aggressive. We could probably take 20 mil off the lip, but then the lips would be like about the same as the front lip, and we can't have that. But you know, like I said, this car for me was to do all the things I've never let myself do with my other drift cars. So we did just that, and I'm stoked, man. I think it looks great. I absolutely love the monoblock to 3-piece conversion. I think that is the coolest thing ever. You know, I've never seen a Z32 3-piece wheel before, and with the chrome barrels, chrome faces, man, they did a killer job on these. So I'm hoping, my plan, I'll see if they come out with some more, but if they come out with some more, I want to get some custom built as drift wheels. So we'll go a little less aggressive in the offset, so we can run, you know, 235 no camber, or maybe a 255. But it'll be cool to have all 3-piece wheels. That's kind of been a life goal of mine, to have a drift car with 3-piece wheels and 3-piece wheels as like my drift wheels, you know, just 3-piece all the time. Big lips. I don't know, man. It's just, this car represents everything I've always wanted to do. You know, I've always wanted like a hot boy turbo car, like slammed with 3-piece wheels. And I know it's not the most practical thing, but it's fun and it puts a smile on my face. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. So anyway, we got a few more things to do. Hopefully we'll sort out those issues. I do want to straight pipe it too, just to see how it sounds. Just give it a shot, you know, make it removable. I don't know. So a couple more things on the agenda for this thing to really tidy her up. But for now, it's about to rain. I'm gonna park the old girl and head inside. So I hope to see you guys next time, but for now, that's it. So thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, goodbye.